Scorpio Ophiuchus, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for May 30th through June 5th, 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link because the signs are different. All right, so Scorpio Ophiuchus, this week we have a new moon Saturday and Sunday over the weekend. And as we approach that new moon, we have all the aspects with it. And it's basically all the aspects of a grand cross. All right, because we have a new moon grand cross in the sky. So this is particularly involving your relationships. All right, this is where the new moon is. This is where the new beginnings are. Maybe even new beginnings with yourself spiritually, because it's going to be conjoining up to Venus, who rules your 12th house, having more peace in your life. All right, and the peace is derived from acceptance. And this is exactly what this week is about, is really working on our spiritual development. And I say that because we're in the balsamic phase of this lunar cycle as we approach the weekend, which is more of the receptive energy, the going within and reflecting on things. So the Grand Cross is about challenging ourselves. You know, that's the best way of working with this. And this is where, you know, really meaningful things and really important things in life are built. It's through the effort. And I think here it's not so much the external effort just yet. It's the spiritual development, the effort that it takes to develop ourselves spiritually. And I think that's an excellent way of working with the energies this week. So as you can see here in the transit graph, this is all of the aspects of that Grand Cross forming in this sort of pattern as we approach the weekend. And we'll go ahead and look at these one by one and look into more detail in terms of what they mean individually. Now, Monday and Tuesday leading into that, we do have Mercury trining up to Pluto. So this is actually quite nice. Mercury's been very well aspected in your 6th house. I think you guys have learned quite a bit about your routine, maybe about your health or your work environment. Maybe things are still moving forward for you there since Mercury has recently gone direct. But these 2 days is very powerful for change there. Maybe this deeper connection to your work, to your health, to your daily activities, right? Making it very supportive, yet very meaningful. And because Pluto is your modern day ruler, both of you, Scorpio and Ophiuchus, you guys do have this bit of, I think, maybe communicative support or mental support. It could be really good for research, diving deep, learning, reading, writing, etc. So the first aspects with this Grand Cross new moon is going to be here on Wednesday. Wednesday and Thursday, the sun is going to be squaring up to Neptune. So the Neptune side of this is the home and family sector. You know, this whole Grand Cross is involving the 4 key areas of life, which is your relationships and self, your home, health, and your career, which we'll talk more about. But here, particularly with, these 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, with either your health, your home, your family, or your emotional body. And this is where it has been so important for so long to have more acceptance in this area, to detach, to surrender. And it's through that acceptance that the peace is arising. In fact, this is the key to the spiritual development because you have both Neptune and the South Node down here at the bottom of the chart. All right, and it's through that acceptance, it's through going with the flow that leads to what is a very spiritually liberating area for you. So that's the acceptance with that, but also acceptance with relationships and whatever's unfolding with that or whatever you've been focused on with the sun. So Wednesday and Thursday, it's having acceptance within them and about relationships and your perspective on relationships. And that can create a tremendous, just like that 4th house, peace in your life there. And unconditionality, all right? And more of that sensitive and compassionate approach in your relationships, perhaps. Or if it's just within you, more of that spiritual liberation. Now, Thursday and Friday, the sun then opposes up to the Saturn side of it, which has been Saturn in your 1st house. For over, roughly about the past year, you've had this more disciplined energy. Maybe some of you are assuming more responsibilities. Maybe some of you are working on your hard work, your patience, your discipline. And this is still a very good area of working on these things. Although Saturn's retrograde, it's good to be in flux, to try new things, with maybe your goals, with your independence, all this stuff you're grounding. But the opposition is all about balance. So this is the balance of self and other. And if it gets too much into the own personal stuff with Saturn, then it can become a bit dense, right? If it gets too much into that one side of it, right? And so in that case, bringing the attention to the fact that there is this enjoyment to be had with relationships with Venus. There are these new beginnings here. It's all about mutuality, harmony in our lives, mutual understanding, coming out of our own skin a little bit, to meet halfway, that kind of a thing. So that's to balance it from that side. But if for those of you who are feeling a lot of the relationship energy and focus and enjoyments, remembering too the responsibilities. And that does keep everything nice and balanced there. Now, Venus is going to be squaring up to Neptune here on those same days, Thursday and Friday. So again, suggesting the importance of having and developing that acceptance with relationships. Venus is your 7th house ruler, and she's also your 12th house ruler. So it could be, really working on that spiritual development, whether it's meditation, your alone time, yoga, anything that puts you into that sort of meditative state. Now, Friday and Saturday, we do have Venus opposing up to Saturn, again, suggesting the balance there with self, even with the spiritual stuff, with getting the alone time in moderation and all of that. Venus is going to be very close to the sun, especially as we go into next week. All right, so it's really emphasizing the importance of bringing extra attention to relationships, extra attention to, in this case, your spiritual development, and that keeps everything nice and grounded, nice and rooted with that. Now, Friday and Saturday, that conjunction is going to be squaring up to Jupiter. So here's where Jupiter comes into the mix, and this is Jupiter in your 10th house of career. Now, Jupiter is all about the possibilities, luck, if we're looking for the luck. And that's certainly where those opportunities are, is to expand on either that career or productive level. But the key with the square is that we want to, again, do this in moderation. We want to have balance here. And so this is being aware of if there are any over extremes with over optimism or wanting things to come easy in the career life, or if it's under extreme, sometimes with a square from Jupiter, pessimistic. We're not seeing the possibilities. So know that things are certainly unfolding, and there are these possibilities and opportunities with the productive side of things. But again, in this Grand Cross, and especially with a square up to Saturn like this, it's all about the slow and steady approach and in moderation, keeping everything nice and constructive. And that's basically what this is. It's a new beginning of what can be a very constructive foundation in our life. For you, very much so, because it's involving the most foundational areas of life: self, relationships, home, and work, or career, or health and career. And this is a good week of working on this, I think, more internally, right? Working on our personal spiritual development with this. And then as we go into next week and the following weeks, it'll become a bit more externalized, more about taking action and that sort of stuff. But definitely new beginnings in these areas, and I think particularly for you guys in regards to your relationships. All right, so Scorpio Ophiuchus, have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week.